In this video, I will discuss the three main issues that impact majority of men and at the same time may cause lowered testosterone. I will also show the alternatives that will constitute your tool in battling this phenomenon. In a 2021 publication, data from more than 4,000 men was collected, obtained in the years 1999 to 2016. It turned out that the average testosterone levels had dropped. We're talking about a decline of around 25%. One could say, okay, but isn't this possibly because of the soaring excessive body mass indexes? It turns out that yes, the average BMI among men also increased within those years, but the testosterone drop also affected those with proper body mass. In other words, this phenomenon cannot simply be blamed on people getting fatter. Another study that confirmed the ever-decreasing concentration of the male hormone was conducted in 2007. This time, they compared the testosterone levels in men from the years 1985 to 1987 with those from the years 2002 to 2004. The decrease here was 22%, which means that indeed the testosterone levels have been dropping at least since the 80s. If we consider the 25% reduction during the last 20 years, in practice this means a drop from 600 down to 450 nanograms per deciliter. I think we can all agree that 150 nanograms per deciliter is a lot. I once heard that the 20-year-olds of today have testosterone levels of 70-year-olds back in the day. Taking into account the 1% decrease a year after turning 30, it is surprisingly close to the truth. When it comes to the causes, it is most likely a multi-factor issue. The first issue is diet. These days, we need to sit down and think seriously about how much carrot there is in a carrot. And the answer is less and less. Let's not even talk about the situation where someone doesn't even put such carrot or some other lettuce in their mouth in any other form than a burger with fries washed down with a sweet beverage. I will touch upon this topic because this is also indicative of the times we live in. Why is it considered normal to eat fried, oversalted potatoes, devoid of any nutrients besides calories, whereas seeing someone eating a carrot or an apple is next to impossible? Ask yourself how many vitamins and minerals there is in a hot dog or a hamburger, which are consumed in bulk for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Yeah, I know. It's the flavor and the ability to quickly sate the hunger. But with just a little effort, one can also find very tasty yet healthy snacks and meals. Remember that by eating fast foods, you lose twice. First, by eating something that is bad for you. Then, by not eating something that could provide your body with valuable nutrients. Sadly, even when you eat healthy, relying on unprocessed products, the risk of getting deficiencies is growing year by year. Fruits and vegetables have dropped in quality significantly during the last 70 years, which is clearly indicated by the results of a study conducted in 2004. The authors compared the nutrients of 43 crops harvested in the year 1950 and those harvested in 1999. The following differences were observed: 6% less protein content, 9% less phosphorus content, 15% less iron content, 15% less vitamin C content, 16% less calcium content, 18% less vitamin A content, 38% less vitamin B2 content. A more recent study from 2021 took a longer time span into account. They analyzed the mineral content of fruits and vegetables from 1940 and 2019. It was observed that all the ingredients besides phosphorus got reduced, and the ones with the most significant losses were sodium 52% less, iron 50% less, copper 49% less, magnesium 10% less. The causes may be numerous, and they likely are. From new strains being developed to deteriorating soil quality, the chemicals used, all the way to environmental pollution. Either way, you have to be aware that even if you, I hope, eat vegetables and fruits, the carrot you put in your mouth cannot compare with the one consumed by your great-grandfather. This trend contributes to development of different kinds of deficiencies, which is why the topic of vitamins and minerals needs to be looked into more and more thoroughly. If you experience deficiency of any element, it will have a negative impact on your health and testosterone production. Several studies have analyzed the influence of zinc supplementation on the level of the male hormone. In the situations where the participants were deficient of it, supplementation yielded the expected result in form of increased testosterone concentration. In people without deficiencies, on the other hand, no impact of supplementation was observed. A positive effect was also yielded by taking magnesium. The elements considered to be crucial in regulating the functioning of testicles, synthesis of androgens, and spermatogenesis are selenium, zinc, and copper. If you don't have enough of them in your diet, it will obviously have a negative impact on your testosterone level. A solution to this situation is to approach this advice really seriously. Eat fruits and vegetables. Make use of nuts, which in my belief could be called the best natural testosterone booster due to their abundance of minerals that support the production of this hormone. It's a good idea to check if you don't have deficiencies, like by sending your hair sample to a lab, for example. As a last resort, you may turn to supplementation. Before I discuss the next point, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel. It helps me to grow. Thank you. The cause number 2 of decreasing testosterone level may be exposure to harmful heavy metals. Your body doesn't necessarily have to lack anything for the testosterone production not to be optimal. In certain situations, such state of things is caused by additional intruders who can cause quite a mess. This is clearly indicated by the results of a study in which they tried to find a connection between the content of harmful trace elements in the body and production of hormones. For that purpose, middle and long-distance runners were tested. It turned out that the more they had of manganese, selenium, vanadium, arsenic, and lead, the less testosterone they had. And the more they had of cadmium, the more cortisol they had. In the conclusions, they wrote that those athletes who live in regions with large amounts of toxic elements should control the level of anabolic hormones. On top of that, a study from 2008 showed a negative impact of molybdenum on the testosterone level, especially in guys with zinc deficiency. In such case, their testosterone was lowered by whole 37% compared to the average level in the population. Most data suggests heavy metals being harmful to the male reproductive system. We're not just talking about the testosterone production here, but also about the quality of sperm and thus about fertility. The toxic heavy metals include arsenic, cadmium, mercury, beryllium. As we know, it is the dose quantity that decides whether a particular substance shows toxic action, and it's also like this here. Small amounts of metals are necessary for proper functioning of the body. What we're worried about are their excessive quantities, which have a very negative influence. In a review from 2020, plenty of ways they can attack our reproductive system were listed. Such phenomena are taken into account as oxidative stress, ionic mimicry, changed gene expression, disturbed signaling pathways in cells, and many more. Harmful elements can be absorbed in many different ways. For example, lead gets absorbed through skin, respiratory system, and digestive tract. Heavy metals can be found in the air, water, soil. The pollution of the environment with heavy metals was caused by human activity. These may be accumulated in mushrooms if the soil they grow in is rich in them. Since metals can also be found in water, we should pay attention to the quality of the one we drink. Especially in older buildings, the quality of pipes that transport H2O may be a reason for concern. It might turn out that they enrich it with such elements as lead or copper. It is a good idea to pay attention to fish and seafood, which will absorb the metals contained in water and other smaller organisms. The highest mercury content can be found in large predatory fish, such as the popular tuna fish. Not without a reason, it's becoming more and more common to see water and glass bottles sold at stores. Shifting away from plastic is a sign of concern about consuming harmful elements that get released from bottles and get in its contents. In 2013, a study was published where the content of bottled water was evaluated for the presence of compounds that disturb the hormonal balance. 16 samples showed anti-androgen action, which means that it impairs the functioning of testosterone. There were also those that blocked the functioning of estrogen. One should above all else avoid drinking from heated plastic bottles, where the process of releasing harmful substances into water is much more magnified. The alternative here is using glass bottles. Sadly, they are more expensive and much less handy, but they're also more neutral to our health and hormones. When it comes to plastic and food, this relationship is not just limited to water. Most products can indeed be found in this type of packaging. That's why you should take into account not only what you drink from, but also what you eat from and with what. For those who can afford it, it's a good idea to consider relying on bioproducts, which by definition contain less harmful compounds. A good habit would be to use aluminum-free cosmetics. Besides avoiding exposure to harmful metals, we can support our body by getting cleansed from them. Yeah, I know that's what we have the liver and kidneys for, but heavy metals also get secreted with sweat. Sauna and cardio may speed up this process. The holy grail of getting cleansed from toxins could be eating fruits and vegetables. They provide vitamins and minerals that reduce the negative impact of toxins on our body, and they also contain other compounds that work in this area, such as anthocyanins, for example. Among the great options are tomatoes, berries, or grapes. Number 3. Lifestyle. Lack of physical effort is not beneficial to the male hormone. The best option is strength training. It causes not only a temporary burst of testosterone after exercise, but it also impacts its basal concentration long term. In order to make it work, though, it is not enough to just come to the gym. You have to exercise heavily, engage a lot of muscle mass, cause hypertrophy. Such exercises increase testosterone, whereas swinging around 4-pound dumbbells for the biceps does not. Lifestyle also means stress. What is interesting, there is plenty of evidence that short-term stress may elevate testosterone. However, a chronically increased cortisol level has a destructive effect on the body. I am not going to advise you not to get stressed because I'm afraid I may end up getting laughed at. I just suggest using methods with proven effect of lowering the stress hormone. Your choices include meditation, alternating between sauna and cooling, interacting with nature, getting a dog, positive relationships with friends, and laughing or finding a hobby. Optimization in these 3 areas, diet, lifestyle in terms of physical effort and stress, as well as avoiding exposure to harmful heavy metals, should have a significant impact on the male hormone level. And remember that it's all about your body and not numbers in a study. First, ask yourself whether you are really experiencing the symptoms of low testosterone. As long as you are in shape and don't have the symptoms, there is nothing to worry about. It is likely that your body needs this exact amount to function properly. If it is less than your friends, the possible cause in you may be a bigger number of androgen receptors. I also encourage you to make as many people in your community aware of this phenomenon as possible, and especially to drive attention to the decreasing amount of vitamins and minerals in our diet. The more people are aware of that, the bigger the chance for a change. Ignoring the topic may end badly, if not for us, then certainly for the future generations. Once again, I would like to ask you to subscribe. That was Steel Shock. See you in the next video.